Let's get ready to rumble!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another interview edition of the Electric Circus Radio Show, presented by MetalMessiahRadio.com. Tonight we got another interview. I got two members of Atlanta-based metal band Motivik. We got members Ryan Roebuck, vocals and music, and Courtney Simmons, vocals. Track listing for Death of the Gunman by Motivik includes 9 powerful melodic and new thrashy and groove metal inspiring tracks. Track number 1, they got Inception. Track number 2, Away. Track number 3, Lament. Track number 4, The Past of Tomorrow. Also on the album. Track number 5, Souls in Torment. Track number 6, they have Undismembered. Track number 7, On the Way Down. Track number 8, Pale Rider. And the final track on the new offering by Motivik is Let It Be Known. Welcome, Ryan and Courtney, to the Electric Circus Radio Show here at MetalMessiahRadio.com. How are you doing, guys?
Good. It's good to be with you tonight.
We're doing great. Thanks so much for having us.
So how did it start out for you guys in the beginning? And, well, what does the name Motivik comes from, if I'm saying that right?
It's pronounced Motivik. No big deal. A lot of people call it Motivik, which is a cool name too. But Motivik, it comes from, it's the German spelling ending with a K, and it's referring to motifs, which in music is the smallest thematic element in music. So basically, you can think of it as building upon riffs. So, but to back up, we've known each other about 30 years or so. We grew up together, and we were in bands in the early mid '90s together, metal bands back then, a metal band, and recorded some demos back then, and played a bunch of places all over Georgia, and but we kind of reconnected about a year and a half or so ago. We had lost touch for about a day, and with the whole COVID thing, even before COVID, I was writing again, and I was finally having some time to really get back to the roots of metal, and started writing, and then I reached out to him, and we reconnected, and things just kept kind of flowing. I started working from home once COVID hit, and I was able to get a lot of speed up and momentum to get this album, finished. And so that's a lot of time really quickly. But yeah, we've known each other a long time, and yeah.
Let's talk about the new offering. This is your very first studio album, Death of the Gunman. Tell us about the songwriting on the album and everything.
Sure. So I wrote the songs, and the idea, I've always been a big fan of Westerns, and always a big fan of thrash and power metal and speed metal and all kinds of metal. And so, it was one of those things when I started off writing these songs. I wrote The Past of Tomorrow first. It was the first one I wrote. And, at that point, I really didn't know, hey, this is going to be one of 9 songs on an album I'm going to do. I just wrote it. I have a studio in my home, so I was down here, and it just came out. Honestly, I wrote that song in just a couple hours. And from there, it was about the time I reached back out to Courtney, and then I just started writing some more. And I wanted to stay true to what I was trying to communicate in each song. So I stopped thinking, hey, is this really thrash, or is this really heavy metal or whatever. I just wanted to write something thematic that kind of traveled throughout the entire album. So the whole imagery of the gunman, and the gunman is death. He rides into town, and basically we all know we're facing death at some point. And so I just wrote different topics in each song, facing, being stuck in the past, or, being ripped apart and reassembled, or what have you. So there's a lot of things there. it just kind of tied together. The cover art, I found a gentleman, an artist over in Indonesia who was just amazing. And I loved his work, and I told him what I was going for. So I felt the visual helped me in a lot of ways finish the record too, because I had that done and I still had a couple of songs I was finishing. So, but yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I love the artwork on the album and everything. It's got the Wild Wild West look to it, cowboys and everything.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Can you please give us an explanation about your style? What kind of metal band do you perceive you guys to be? What style do you think?
I think that's a very, very good question, and Ryan quickly moved away from the mic, and I think that's really symbolic for us. To answer that question, I don't know. And he and I were just talking earlier before we came on the radio with you. Really, to us, it doesn't really matter. We're just really we're just creating. And whatever comes out. There's really no intentions to be one style over the other. There's really no intentions to head down a certain path. We're honestly just enjoying the moment, creating music that we would want to listen to, and thankfully other folks are responding and enjoying it as well. It's definitely thrash. I think the guitar riffs in there really lean toward thrash. Vocally, there are some thrash vocals for sure, but then there's a lot of other power metal type vocals. Really, just whatever we feel like is speaking to us. I think that would be the best thing.
I'll add to that. I mean, so you take, for instance, the last two songs. I had a vision of, and I don't know if we're down with the first. There's been so many bands, but I wanted to write a really older school sounding thrash song in the Pale Rider, but I wanted it to tie into a cinematic ballad, a Western ballad, which is just odd, I know, and some would want to crucify me for that. But what I was telling there was a two-parter: the story of the duel in which the gentleman lost to the gunman, being death, and then part two being Let It Be Known, is basically him bleeding to death there and his final thoughts on life, and I didn't feel I could tell that story in another thrash song. I felt like it had to be that aggressive thrash, and then it just, dissolved into him sitting there on the ground dying, and that's why I wanted it to be, as some have said, a Tarantino-style Western ballad, I guess, if you will.
How did you guys get signed on the current record label, Roxx Records, out of Los Angeles, California? What were the conditions attached to signing the contract with them? What was that process like, getting on with them?
Yeah, so one night, probably back in late summer, I had put together just a little 90-second compilation of some of the tunes, and I posted on my Facebook page or whatever. And within 20 minutes, Bill from Roxx Records had private messaged me and said, "Hey, like your sound, could you send me some full tunes?" I said, "Sure." So I sent him a few, and probably the next day or two, he reached back out and asked if I was interested in, if we were interested in signing with him. He really liked the stuff. He had sent it around to some of his folks, and yeah, that was pretty much it. So we signed a deal with them for, basically the production of this record, mastering and duplication and promotion, and just great folks. I love Bill to death. Roxx is a great home for us, a great fit.
Okay, which studio did you guys use to record this offering?
Sure. I may have mentioned earlier, I have a recording studio in my home. My background is in music. I majored in music, been playing since I was a kid, and first fell in love with the studio probably back in 94, 95 when I first went into a studio. And I built one here in my home, and so I do projects for other clients and mixing and everything. So I was able to do everything at home. So I was able to play everything, write everything, after dinner, head down here, and yeah, tracking and writing, it's just, I love it. I love the studio. It's just such a blast, and I'm so fortunate to have, to be able to do this in my home.
Okay, so far, guys, what has the reception been like on people doing reviews on the new record of Death of the Gunman release? How has the reception been so far, and what is some of the bloggers saying and reviewing the band's new offering?
I think it's gone really, really well. So far, we're super impressed with what people are saying. I think folks, one, are tapping into really what we had hoped that people would tap into, and obviously we're really into the music, we're really into the style of music, we're really into metal music, but kind of in the season we find ourselves in, we really wanted folks to maybe walk away with an idea or a concept, maybe of a little bit of hope, and so I think folks are picking up on that. We were a little apprehensive, I think, about how broad the musical elements are. One's, like Ryan was saying earlier, one song will be super thrashy, and the next song is like an old Western ballad. The orchestration is not your typical metal music orchestration, and so there was a little apprehension about how folks would receive that. But I think the broadness is really keeping folks interesting, and I think for the most part they really like it.
Yeah, it's been cool to see, some of the publications such as the Metal Onslaught and Metal to Infinity and some of these other organizations or publications picking up some of the reviews. So it's been really positive for the most part. Encouraging, but yeah, I think people are responding to the authenticity of it. It doesn't feel, a lot. The best thing I could hear is that the album flows really well, and with so much diversity and everything, that's a really very positive thing to hear. So, so yeah, I think we've been really pleased.
The first single and lyric video, Souls in Torment, featuring a guest appearance from Sacramento's very own Robert Wolf. How did you guys meet and get him to have a guest appearance on the new offering?
Yeah, Sacrament back in the day, their album Haunts of Violence was one of my favorite records, and I just always liked Robert's unique kind of European thrash vocal that he did, and it was pretty cool. I had decided early last summer sometime that I wanted to do a cover song, and why not do the hardest one on their album? It was a challenge. It's it's over 7 minutes. It has a lot of time changes and tempo changes, which is a lot of fun, but challenging. And so I tracked it. It took me about 2 weeks just to build the track. So I had a lot of hours in that one, but I mentioned earlier the promo video I posted. Well, I had a little snippet of that, Souls in Torment, and at the time it was just me, screaming my head off on it. And Robert happened to see it online and commented and said, "Hey, that song sounds really familiar." Wink, wink. And then he private messaged me and said, I said, "Look, I got the license or whatever." And he's like, "I don't care about any of that." He goes, "If you want me to do any background vocals, let me know." And I responded back and said, No. I want you to do your vocals. So towards the middle of the song, he actually reprises his section. And then we have one of my favorite parts is the climactic chorus after the solo, when it's he and I going back and forth with the vocals. And yeah, it's just such a cool thing to be able to do that. And Robert's such a nice guy. And yeah, just a super guy to work with.
Okay, next, guys, I'm going to play a new track off the new album, Death of the Gunman by Motivik. Let's spin Souls in Torment, which we just talked about. It's track number 5 on the new offering, Souls of Torment. And we will be right back with Ryan and Courtney of Motivik, metal band from Atlanta, Georgia, right here in my backyard. Crank it. J0KeR Live, one place, MetalMessiahRadio.com. We are your metal music messiah.
This is Ryan and Courtney from Motivik. You're listening to J0KeR's Electric Circus on MetalMessiahRadio.com.
tendency overwhelm the mind. Souls and torments, not condemned to feel the pain. Trust in the Lord, anxiety to partial life you live. Depression melts away, overcome by the Father's loving will. Knowing that there is a purpose for all the trials in life. Faith in our God, He goes before us in all adversity. To live as a true to life, enduring these trials is a part of life. From them we learn to be strong. The spiritually sound will see a better day. Any intimidating storm can be more than endured by the grace of God. His clouds must dissipate, so these shadows move on to reveal the light. A soul in torment, 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 torment. A soul in torment, 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 torment.
All right, welcome back to Metal Messiah Radio, and everyone. We're back with two members of the band Motivik, a metal band from Atlanta, Georgia. So welcome back, guys.
Good to be back.
So what do you expect from Death of the Gunman? Is there any chance that the album will get chance for recognition overseas in Europe and Japan and places like that in the future?
Yeah, so right now I know some of the reviews and some of the publications have been over at, in Germany and Scandinavia, and some other places, Brazil. So we're hoping to continually foster that, and we have folks reaching out via Facebook or Bandcamp or whatever, and chatting with all kinds of folks that are into, that style of music. So we hope, in the future we get a vinyl pressing, and we're also working on some new material for another record that'll be out later this year as well. So.
Okay, do you have any merchandising? You got any T-shirts? And you just mentioned you're going to have some vinyl in the future also. Can people get T-shirts and stuff like that with the band logo and everything on it?
Yeah. So if you go to our Bandcamp page or our Facebook page, we have a link there that they can go to, and we have there's a site that we use that hosts all our merchandise. So there's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of shirts, hats, stickers, you name it, we have it.
Being in a metal band, are there any other activities you do outside of being in the band? What do you do for a living when you're not creating music, like a job to support yourself and family?
I am actually a dean of students at a private school here in the Atlanta area.
Yeah, I'm an IT manager for a university in Atlanta, so that keeps me very busy as well. In addition, I also produce and write for other folks as well.
Please tell us about the music scene coming up in Georgia, like we have a scene, or not, but plus right now we don't have a metal scene because of the COVID lockdown and everything. What are you guys doing?
Yeah,
what are you doing in your spare time to keep yourself busy?
Well, yeah, there's not a lot of spare time. I'll say we're pretty big. We're in the throes of it right now. We both work for schools, so it's kind of crazy. But with all the COVID and all the online education and everything, but yeah, I would speak to the music scene, and I think just in the world, there's a lot of these, live broadcasts that people are doing either from their homes or from small stages or something. We haven't looked at doing that, but that's unfortunately, well, fortunately and unfortunately, that's where we're at the moment. But I so look forward to, live music again. I'm hoping to catch Megadeth later this year if that still happens. And there's a lot of things, I think everybody misses from just the live scene. But yeah.
What is the driving force to make you guys want to create great metal music?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, we grew up, when we grew up, we listened to a lot of the, early Metallica, Megadeth, a lot of these bands back then. And so I think heavier music took hold, at least for me, early on. And then I started playing guitar, and it was just like, that was around the time, grunge was just starting to rear its head, and I was just like, no, not for me, really. I want to shred. I want to play, So for me, I mean, I took it very seriously. Did private lessons growing up, majored in music, and then I practice every day. Still do. It's been the great passion of my life. I think fueled with my faith. I think it's been a perfect merger to really amplify what I'm wanting to say, and also just the style and the styles that we get to incorporate to say various things, just about life and about gratitude and about hope, like Courtney mentioned earlier. So,
what do you guys think about what it takes to make a good record, and how long did it take you to make Death of a Gunman?
It takes a lot, yeah. I'm sorry, creativity. It takes time. And a lot of people, I think, bands in particular, artists get impatient with it. With our circumstances over this last year or so, we've had that time. I didn't rush it. So being the sole musician, writer, engineer, mixer, producer, and Courtney and us bouncing ideas off each other, we took our time with it, and I wanted it to be as good as we could possibly make it. So, I feel very. And Rob Caldwell, Metal Rob, he mastered it, and I got to work closely with him, and it was just a wonderful experience. I mean, the whole thing, we just wanted it to be as good as we could possibly make it.
Okay, guys, Gear Talk, what can you tell me about the instruments? Are you subject to brand loyalty, or will you play whatever's available? What made you choose the instruments and such that you have now? What is the cost, or was it style, model, brand, color, or preference of the instrument?
I have a kind of a plethora of instruments, from Ibanez to Schecter to Gibson, Fender, STL Tones, Axe Effects, Line 6 products, Mesa Boogie amps, whatever. There's a bunch of stuff I used on this. So I don't have any loyalties. I'm not sponsored by anybody. What I go for is based on years of experience with hearing various instruments, guitars, basses, amps, and I know basically what I want to hear when I'm working on a song or writing a song. I may be thinking, hey, you know what, this really has a Les Paul sound through a Marshall, or this has more of a Mesa Boogie sound with, an old 550 or something. So those are I approach it from it's my toolbox, and I like to have a lot of tools in the toolbox to pull from.
Okay, have you guys did shows before? If you have, tell us what those experiences was like, and who did you share some stages with?
We did a lot of shows back in the mid to late 90s. We opened up for several underground bands that were kind of moving through the Atlanta area. We both kind of went our own way musically. I did a lot of, in the last probably 20 years, I personally did a lot of kind of acoustic folk rock stuff. College rock stuff over the years. Ryan's done a good bit of that too in the meantime. And then COVID hit and we found ourselves with spare time, and Ryan had all these ideas bouncing around, so we got together and made this record. Haven't had a chance to really play out yet, but hopefully sooner than later.
Are there any aspirations for you guys in the future after this COVID crap ends where you can tour and everything? Is there any metal festivals that you guys would be interested in? Or has any metal festival people contacted you and asking you to be a part of something with doing shows at some kick-ass metal festivals?
We're definitely interested in playing some festivals and some, I would say, more along the lines of mini tours. We're both in education, so we have summers we can definitely go out, and even weekends too some. But we would love to get out there. Right now, I haven't heard of a lot of festivals really in full commitment mode, just due to all the various circumstances. So, kind of sucks. But I think sooner than later we're going to start seeing full commitments to festivals again. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we'll definitely be open to coming out and playing.
Where do you guys see yourself in the future coming up as a band? What's some of your goals in the future to be even better band?
Yeah, I think, for us, writing in the creative process is as much of the reward or a reward as it is finishing the project. So I think the journey, is such a gift to be able to, first of all, play music and be a part of it. Mm-hmm. So I think, moving forward, at least for the foreseeable future, we'd love to, at least get an album out every year, and be able to do, like you said, we were talking about festivals and such, playing out, meeting fans, doing some more music videos, and just enjoying it. That's really our goal, is just to make good music.
You were speaking of videos and everything. Tell us about some videos you've done, and who does your lyric videos? Who edits and produces them for you guys? Do you do it yourself?
For the one we released, I did the Souls in Torment one. That was just a little snippet. But the full video we did, lyric video for Away, I used I used a guy on Fiverr who I told, kind of what I was going for. So that's a great resource for anybody out there, any bands out there who needs some of that.
Yes, I've used Fiverr before to get them to do. What advice would you have to up-and-coming bands in the Georgia area that want to play metal and create new music and metal?
I would tell them to play metal and create new metal music. Don't let any trends or anything sway you from playing what's in your heart. If you want to play metal, whether it's death metal, black metal, speed, thrash, power, I don't know, whatever, you play it. You get guys who are passionate about it or girls who are passionate about it, and you do it.
What do you think Georgia needs to have a metal scene here again?
I think that's it's a systemic problem. And that a lot of bad music is put out. Bands or just, music that's not really, in my opinion, music, not to downplay or be mean or anything. Just simply, there's a lot of stuff out there that's just clone and it's just meant to sell. I think people need to get back to the heart of really listening to music and really, the human quality of music, whether, it doesn't matter what style really, but humans playing music and being together and the authenticity of that. And I think, in metal, that's one thing that's always kind of stayed pure and true, is that, that garage band mentality, I think, stays in the hearts of most people who are out there being successful with it.
When you guys do go on the road and everything and do gigs and everything, what kind of show will the fans get from you guys?
Well, we'll have to hire some musicians, because right now it's just he and I. But we've already got some really great guys in mind for that. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a very, in my mind at least, it's a very theatrical performance. I think there's going to be lots of instrumentation. I think there's going to be lots of highs and lows. I think it'll be a super broad performance, and we're probably going to stick to the theme and in a lot of ways, maybe even the order of the record, at least at first. Just trying to, there's definitely a theme to this album, and we're excited for folks to kind of see that as the album progresses. I'm really frustrated with this. I think even the younger culture today, this idea of like one song, you know, a band doesn't create one song. You know, a band creates a full album, and we really want people to enjoy the whole piece of one part of it, if that makes sense.
So you was talking about there might be a upcoming album, the follow-up to this one. How soon do you think will the fans out there and new fans get a new album by Motivik?
You know, it's hard to say exactly a date, but I would say probably late fall.
Awesome. Please give us a plug on the websites, all your social pages, and where people can contact you and download and buy music and merchandise.
Sure. So you can find us at facebook.com/Motivik Band, and then on Instagram at motivikband. You can also go to our Bandcamp site, which is motivik.bandcamp.com, which you'll find links to download our albums and also links to our merchandise pages and our record label page if you want to buy a physical like CD. So all of that can be found at any of those sites.
What would you guys?
We're also streaming as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we're also we're on Apple Music as well. We're on Spotify, so you can find us there as well.
Cool. All right. What would you like to say to the new fans out there and fans to be?
You guys are awesome, and I love you. And thanks for listening. Seriously, we appreciate appreciate you taking the time to listen in a sea of music out there. We are really thankful for anybody and everybody who takes a listen to the record. And feel free to reach out to us, email us or whatever. We love to correspond, and yeah.
Is there anything you guys would like to say that you haven't been able to say yet you'd like to talk about before we close?
Just gratitude, in a season of uncertainty, a season of frustration, a season of questioning things. We're just super grateful to have the opportunity really to express ourselves musically and to create something that folks might like, might walk away with a little bit of encouragement from, and we're just super grateful. Thank you, and please share it with your friends.
Courtney and Ryan, it's been an honor and a pleasure having you on tonight's show, Joker's Electric Circus, presented to you by MetalMessiahRadio.com. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule for doing this killer interview with us here tonight, and the best of luck to you and the guys of Motivik in the future. And you're more than welcome to come back on the show when you want to promote something new in the future. You're always welcome to come back.
Thanks for having us tonight. It's been very cool.